Here, wanted to introduce TextFocus to you. It is currently on AppSumo. I think there's only a couple of hours left. It's now Friday, about 10 a.m. I'm just recording this quickly so you guys can see it in action before you make a decision. I have used this tool since August of 2023. I bought it on AppSumo. It is probably one of the top 5 purchases I've made on AppSumo, and I've tried a lot on AppSumo. Usually I wind up refunding them because I don't like them, but this one I kept. So you get 750 credits a month. I don't even come close to that. You do have to be an AppSumo Plus member. For this one, I didn't have to be when I bought this originally. You do have to now. So you might have to put out $189 for this if you're not an AppSumo Plus member. It's still worth it. It's $189 for a lifetime use of this. He is making updates. It's pretty much one guy running this. He does a great job. He has done some updates, made it better, adds new tools. So for me, it was money well spent. So I'm going to dive in. I'm not going to show you all the details about it. I'm just going to do a general overview so you can see what you get with this. So alphabetical generator is just a tool that'll let you see things by Google Suggest. I'm going to use my own site for an example on some of these. I'm not going to run through this one. This is pretty self-explanatory. Suggested keywords, it'll just give you ideas for alternate keywords that you can use. I don't use this one too much, but it could be good just for ideation. Search for questions, this one I use a lot. So let's do become a welder as my keyword. Okay, search for questions. It's going to give me different opportunities for different questions. Okay, so I can go through this list, make sure I'm answering it either in this article, which is my How to Become a Welder article. So I want to make sure I'm covering every single question people might have, and that's all of these. Now, how can I become a certified welder? That might be a separate article. I'll have to look into that, see what the SERPs are telling me. How to become a pipeline welder. I bet you that's probably a separate article. I might talk about pipeline in here because it's semantically relevant, but it might be a new article that I would want to write about this specific topic. Okay. Thing is, he does have a tool in here about how to do that, which is really kind of cool. So that's the search for questions. So this is a really good one for improving existing content and creating new content. Research volumes, self-explanatory. It's just going to give you some information about the search volume, how difficult it is, a cost per click. That's a pretty standard, so I'm not going to go through that one. And then keyword audit. Okay, so if I take a look at this one, I'm going to do welder salary, just because I am working on some salary pages. Okay, find keywords. Okay, now what this is going to give me is a whole list of different terms related to welder salary. Okay, so we got pipe fitter welder salary, underwater diver welder salary. Okay, so I'm seeing some different variations. How much might a union welder make versus non-union? Offshore welder, which might be part of the diver, I don't know. But this is giving me a whole range of ideas that I didn't have before. But what's really cool about this tool, he puts clusters in. Okay, so I can actually sort by cluster. And what this is telling me is I should put these two into a separate topic about rig welder salaries. I should put these into a separate topic about underwater welder salaries. Okay, and then we got, traditional welder salaries. So right off the bat, it's clustering these for me and telling me how I should put my content together. Okay, if you go up here, proposed architecture, it's telling me how I should name my pages. Suggested URL is welder salary. Then I should have welder salary rig, welder salary underwater. So when I'm in WordPress, I want to make sure I have a welder salary page and then a child page underneath each. Okay, so it's giving you the proposed architecture. This is a game changer, and this is one of the things I always find when I do website audits that people are just epically failing at. The naming architecture of your URLs still is a good value for SEO efforts. So this is a really cool thing to have. Themes just kind of gives you the clusters, okay, single words, just to give you more ideas of some of the words that maybe you want to use within the pages. And then named entities. As we know, entities are important for SEO, and we want to make sure we're using as many entities as possible. Now, here we have Florida. So it's saying that a lot of people talk about Florida when they're talking about welding. Well, it probably makes sense because Florida is surrounded by water. There's probably a ton of underwater welding there. We might want to talk about that. What are the opportunities in Florida? So we want to try and add these terms into our content to talk about that for welder salaries. Okay. So this is the keyword audit. It's one of the tools I probably use the most. This is another one. So we just talked about welder salary. So let's do welder salary. What this is going to tell me, remember I said before about pipeline salary, pipeline welder salary. I don't know if this should be a separate page. Actually, it was welder. So let's do become a welder, or become a pipeline welder. This will tell me if I need to make a separate page. Okay. So when you click compare, this I use a lot. So our advice, make 2 separate pages. The requests are different. Percentage of shared pages is 0. So this is actually one of the strongest ones I've seen. Sometimes you'll see percentage of shared pages are, 30%. This is the share of pages in the top 10, which is what I care about the most. So if you're seeing no pages similar between these terms, you definitely need a separate page. If the share of shared pages is, I don't know, maybe 50, 60%, I might not. I might just keep them on the same page and make sure I'm optimizing them both really well. So this is a fantastic tool to help you understand whether or not you need a separate page. So this is a strong one for me. I use this a lot. So semantic analysis, this is going to tell you the words you want to use. So become a welder, semantic search. Okay. So now this is giving me all the semantic terms I should have within my content, okay, what the competition is using, how often it's mentioned amongst the competition, frequency and content. So I'm not going to run through what all of this is. Usually I'll go by TF-IDF, make sure we're understanding that we're using the most important terms on the page. TF-IDF is just a numerical value of the relevancy to the content. So I usually start with that and then work my way down and make sure I have as many as makes sense. It doesn't mean stuff all these in. It has to make sense. Okay, so that's a semantic search. Optimized copywriting, I have not used this yet. I'm not going to go into it, but it does have this tool in here. I would guess it's probably pretty good. I am going to test it in the future. I just haven't had a chance to really play with it. This is one of his newer additions to it, but I just haven't played with it. This is where most people spend their time. So this was the page I'm going to spend a little bit more time on. So how to become a welder. I'm going to put that in here. This is the page I want to analyze. Page target. How to become a welder. You know what? I'll just do become a welder. Become a welder as the keyword I want to optimize for. Analyze the page. And it goes pretty quick. Right? The tool is fast. Okay, the keyword become a welder is not among the important keywords of the page. I probably don't have that specific term in here a lot. I don't find this to be truly a negative thing. This is, again, a tool. Okay, how you use it is going to determine how successful you are with it. It's giving you ideas. It doesn't mean that you have to go in and do every single thing it says. SEO is about using your brain and understanding what makes sense and what doesn't. So overall, I'm seeing a lot of things that are good. Okay, weld is a major word. Welder is a major word. Career is good. Become, guide. I'm not sure why com is in here. I might want to look at that and see what I need to do to get that out of there. And I'd like to try and see if I can get other as a smaller part of my content. So there are some improvements I could probably make. Okay. SEO analysis of the page. My SEO score is actually 85% based on what it's telling me. You can go through. I mean, this is all pretty self-explanatory. It gives you some insights. Some of these I don't care about, like this. It's just not a concern to me. It does give you AI robot generated meta descriptions and meta title tags if you want to use these to improve it. Twitter card, I don't care about Twitter. Number of H2 tags, it's telling me there's too many. I don't stress over this. If I do need 12, I'm going to use 12. Okay. But maybe I don't need 12, maybe I can look at if I can do my content in a different way, but I don't overly stress over this. Okay. This is the part that I kind of look at the most important. Ratio to text code. You want to make sure this is where the technical SEO is really important. You want clean code on your site. If you have more code than text, that's not a good thing. My free website audit, we do touch on some of those types of issues. If you want to download a free website audit off my website, iamjillcaren.com. I'll throw a link into the description below, but the website audit will help you understand how well you're doing with some of that. Distinct relevant words. Okay. That's something we can look at and see how we can improve that. First person terms. Now, the reason why this is added is because with all of the helpful content updates, it's nice to have first person terms, that you have specific experience. Clearly, I'm not a welder, so I don't have firsthand experience, but I know people who are welders. So maybe I can talk to them and have them leave comments that say, when I was a welder, I did this. So I may want to start thinking about that for my content so I can have more personal anecdotal stories that'll show Google that I'm talking to people who have experience as welders and have input into this article. A few images. I don't really stress about this. It's not an image site, so I don't worry about that. And that's what I'm saying. You have to make common sense a thing. If you're using content that should be image heavy, you're an artist or a painter or anything like that, you obviously want an image heavy website. Me, I don't. Okay. Page title hierarchy. You just want to make sure it's kind of in order. Okay. I'm a big advocate for proper nomenclature here with the H1s, H2s, H3s. Like an H3 should never be above an H2. I'm big on that for accessibility. You want to make sure your website is accessible, but it does help. The H2s are strong value for SEO. You want to make sure you're using them properly. Semantic analysis. This is where the fun stuff is. Okay. So it's giving me some of the semantic terms. This also is from that tool that I showed you just a little bit a while ago. I kind of gave you all the semantic terms. This does the same. Again, you can do by TF-IDF, training, career, skills. We want to make sure we're talking on all of these. It's telling me my occurrence is 12. I'm using 12 variations of training in my article. So these are all semantically related to training. 12 times. The competition is using at a max of 30. Ideal occurrence is 3 to 24. So I'm in a pretty good spot here. Okay, it'll tell you if it's in any of the titles. Okay, if it's, this is in the title tag. This is the titles within the H2s, H3s. Okay, so we've got a little bit of weight there. The more important the term, the more important you want it to be in an H2 or an H1 or an H3. Okay. So I am using those all pretty good. This one showing me I am over optimized. Okay. Ideal occurrence is 3 to 16. I'm using 22. So I may want to look at this and just make sure I try and remove a few. The reason why I would remove a few from this, again, not always worth worrying about, but because I do have a separate article about welding schools, I don't want them to fight. So for this one, I would kind of want to de-optimize around that term school so I can make sure my welding school is well optimized. Okay, so we just go down the page and see. So metal arc, somehow I'm using metal too much compared to the competition. So, I just want to go through and assess. Okay, if you come up, okay, you can see related keywords. Okay, these are questions that come from the question page. So I might want to add frequently asked questions and maybe put some of these in that page. Okay, related questions, same thing, and then named entities. So these are the entities that I am currently using on the page. This one I'm not using enough. To the competition, it says. Not sure I'll add any more. Again, this is just information to help me understand how well I'm doing. Okay, if we go TF-IDF, training is good. So these are all different entities that we should be using within the content. If we're missing any, you definitely want to put it in. So if I have any with a 0, which I don't, I'd want to add it. Okay. Main optimized lexical fields. What this is just kind of giving you, I'm not going to dive deep into lexical analysis, but it's just making sure you have the proper words. And clearly we do. Become, weld. The only thing is I'd want this to be welder, not weld. So I'm clearly needing to change something to make sure that this is a stronger welder term. That I'll go through on the audit. Main keywords and presence in the tags. So you can see weld for some reason is a high term. So I have to look at why that's happening. I'm not sure offhand. So I will dig into that. Welder, it's 42 times. I'm using it in the URL. This is just telling you where you're using it. Okay. And if it's being spammed, okay, I shouldn't have anything spammy. I don't. So maybe, become, maybe I want to add that to my H1. I currently don't have it in there. So maybe I want to try and put it on the H1 as well. So I can make sure I capture become a welder. I don't currently have it. I don't have anything in the strong tag for become. So this is just giving you ideas for better optimizing your content. Okay. How you use this content, where you're using it. And you can, I believe, download some of this as well, if it's easier for you to download. Okay. Analysis of the entities, just another way of looking at the entities, what the confidence score is of that entity on the page. And then this is important. Most use words at the beginning of a sentence. You want to make sure you're using your most critical words at the beginning of a sentence. So welding, welder, welders, metal. So I'm doing a good job there. Okay, so you definitely want to look at that. Sometimes I'll audit a site and I'll see that, the first terms that on the page is like if or when. You don't want those to be used as first terms. You want to start off your sentences strong with really strong relevancy to the topic you're talking about. So I love this. Social tags, I don't even look at that. I don't care. Analysis of hyperlinks, just kind of telling you what links you have, if you have any that are going to not found pages. I mean, it's a good thing just to look at, make sure that anchor text is strong for ingoing and outgoing links, alt tags. Okay. Performance on mobile. So these are your performance. So I can see time to interactive here is a little bit of concern on this page. So I definitely want to look at that. This is important. You want to be green here. You want your performance to be well. If Google's having trouble crawling your page, you're just losing traction. Okay. And then this is the competitors. Now, the only glitch I'm finding with this is that the list of competitors is not always matching what I'm seeing in the search results. In all the tools, it works. Here, it's not. So this, I don't put too much effort in. I look to see if, I know the people that are on page 1 for this term. So I'll look at their analysis. I know these guys are on page 1. So I might look at what they're doing. I think these guys are on page 1. I might see what they're doing. The struggle with the term for me is there is a lot of local search for become a welder in Pennsylvania. So you have to be careful how you use the competitive analysis and understand your search terms. And this is what I'm saying. It's not use this and live and die by it. You have to understand where you are in the scheme of things. So you can see I'm here. It's telling me I'm at number 47 for that term, how to become a welder. Okay. So how you'd want to use this is look at the terms that these other competitors in the top positions are known for. This is where I want to be. I want to be welder, become career. Okay. I've got welder career. Okay. So I need to get this to become to be a stronger candidate for ranking for my search volume. Okay. And then at the rest is just robots. And then you can see plain text of the page. Now, what I like about this, it's highlighting all the entities for you. So you can see how strong your entity optimization is. So if you're not seeing a lot, then you're not doing too well. All right. So that's TextFocus. Again, there's a lot to it. There's a lot to take in. This is just a general overview. If you have any specific questions on it, drop a comment. I'll be glad to try and help how I can. Again, it's only on sale for a little while longer. I do highly recommend it. I am not pushing any affiliate links on this. I just really like the tool and think the guy who created it is amazing. So go get it and have a good day, guys.